UFC middleweight, Trevin Giles. Thank you so much for the time, man. I know you are on break. How's the streets treating you?
It's all right, man. Not too busy today.
A couple days ago, your original opponent pulled out, and now you got a new opponent. What was your initial reaction to the news?
Um, to me, it's always a little bit annoying hearing about last minute switch up, but it is what it is. Like we're this far into camp, whenever I hear a last minute matchup, I mean, it's just we got to do it at this point, So the work's been put in. Um, it's not really that big of a deal. This would be a more exciting fight.
Oh, okay. Now, why do you feel like this is a better matchup?
I just think that I think Holland has more of an exciting style. Uh, Me and Park would have been good too, just because we both kind of like to box, So that'd have been an interesting fight as well. But Holland just he has more of a seems like he's more diverse as far as his striking, and he's like unpredictable, I mean, on the ground and striking. So I think it's more interesting.
Now, with the world unpredictable and the original opponent coming from abroad, were you always thinking like something could happen, like the opponent could change throughout your camp?
I didn't think that was gonna happen. No, I mean it was. I just woke up one morning and had my management texting me saying, "Hey," or my management actually called me and said, "Hey, he may not be able to fight you," So I mean, these things are always kind of random. Yeah, you never. Anytime that you prepare for a fight, you're preparing to fight that one person. So you don't imagine that it's gonna just switch up on you or anything like that. But if it happens, you got to kind of deal with it.
Well, I guess it's better than your last fight, less, a couple days notice, so it's all good, right?
Yeah. Still got a little bit of time to study and stuff.
The country, the US, even worldwide, they're dealing with a lot of racial tension and like, police brutality is a big issue, and you being in law enforcement, how has these things affected your training the last few months?
It's affected it a little bit. For a second, we had to work longer hours and stuff because we had to keep everything in control. Um, but it hasn't been too bad. But during that span of time, which was about 2 weeks, where we had to work more hours, I couldn't get nearly as much training. I couldn't really get any training. We were working some really long shifts, but I don't think that's going to affect me at all right now. I mean, if anything, I was able to heal a couple of bumps and bruises and stuff, so it may have played to my favor.
Now, the last couple years for you have been a roller coaster. 2018, you sat out. 2019, you had back-to-back losses. Digging yourself out of that and getting a win, was it one of the most difficult endeavors of your life, you feel?
No, not at all. I don't let the winning or losing affect me that much. I mean, a lot of people expected me to take losing a lot harder than what I did, but it's just the nature of the sport. I mean, sometimes most of the time that's gonna happen. You get a select few people um, that go with some perfect records and stuff like that. But with this sport, it's just really hard to do. And I'm still learning in the sport. So to me, I don't take it as anything negative or anything like that. It's just I went out, I competed. The other guy won. So that's all it is to me. Um, so then it's just my job to go out there and perform. So that's all I think about. I try not to get too pressured or anything like that. I just make sure every time I come out, I put on the best performance I can. And if I win, it's great. If I lose, it happens.
Do you feel a lot of fighters, they get stuck on trying to keep that perfect record, and that kind of shatters them when they actually lose a fight?
Yeah, I think that can happen. People start, hyping themselves up, and I think a lot of people let that add pressure to them. Just being undefeated and stuff. I feel like you just have to have a certain mindset. When I was undefeated, my mindset again was just to put on a good performance. If I win, I move on, and I put on a better performance than I did last time. So as long as you focus on just performing, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's all good. Winning sounds like such a loser thing to say, but winning really isn't everything. Sometimes you can take more from a loss than you can a win. Most of the time, because at least now you know you got something to work on. So to me, there are benefits of losing. I never want to. I don't want to lose again. But if I do, then you just make the best of it and you try to let it make you better.
Now, if you look back at your last performance, you said you were somewhat disappointed after the win. How much did that drive you, heading into this fight coming up?
It I get driven from a lot of things, but I guess it drives me a little bit. It just makes me feel like it makes me want to go out there and get more finishes. But at the same time, I know that I don't need to get overzealous doing that. But it's always in the back of my head, to finish. That's all I really want to do. I don't really want to go to decisions. I'm never happy going to a decision, because then it just it just gives you people room to say, oh, well, I thought this and I thought that, and I can care less about people's opinions. But yeah, so I mean, it drives me to get finishes, but I just know that if I do end up with a decision, it is what it is. But I just try not to let it drive me too much to try to finish to where I'm doing stuff that's out of my character.
A perfect example of what you're talking about is your last fight. It went to the decision. There's some controversy surrounding it. Does that still linger in your mind, or is it just in the rearview mirror for you?
No, I don't care about it. I mean, to me, it's whenever there's a decision, it can. I mean, if you look at the people act like it's new. People act like, oh man, like this has never happened. I mean, in the UFC, that's what happens. I mean, if especially if it's something that's close, you can't really argue about it. If there's a split decision, what's there to argue about? It could have gone either way. I mean, I don't know. I just I don't. The decisions is just I don't like a bunch of talking, and that's all it does. Like, as soon as whenever there's a decision, everybody's got an opinion, and like I said, it's not new that somebody's going to get upset behind the decision, So I don't know. People make it more of a big deal than what it is. If you don't want to go to a decision, it's your job to finish, So train to finish, go in the fight to finish, and if you can't, then to me, that means that we didn't do our jobs and we're letting the judges do it for us, So it is what it is. I mean, if you don't like decisions, you got to get the finish.
Now, going back to your opponent, Holland, he is another fighter from Texas. Have you ever trained with him, or have you had run-ins with him throughout the regional scene?
No, not really. I never really even met Holland, but he hit me up before about training. I think I forget who he was getting ready to fight, but he was looking forward to getting some rounds in and stuff, and we were gonna do that, but something prevented me from being able to. But no, I mean, other than that, I haven't really had much communication from him or anything like that. I don't even know if we fought on the same fight card. That we could have, but I'm not sure of it.
Have you spent most of your time training camp wise at War, or did you frequent other spots?
Well, at War, yeah. Right now, I'm strictly at War, and we're just we're getting all the work we need in right now. And whenever I need people or whatever, like, I mean, this last camp I had Nate Marquardt come through, and then we just got people over there that are just pretty good at training partners. Period. Charlie Ontiveros. Just a lot of guys. We've got so many people. Millie, like there are so many guys that I've got at the gym right now that put in plenty good rounds, so I don't have to go and start, kind of trying to take from other gyms or see what other gyms have to offer as far as different aspects of the sport. We're pretty well rounded over there.
Do you work until you fly out?
Yeah. I'll be working all the way up until Sunday.
Does that help you kind of keep your mind off the fight, not too obsessing over it and stuff like that?
Man, it helps me keep my mind off of food. Yeah, so I like to stay busy, man, especially when it comes to this time, where you're trying to keep the weight down and stuff like that. Staying busy is important for me because if I get bored, I'll start eating, man. So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily need. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need work to not think about the fight, but because I mean, I don't know. I don't think much about fights until they're getting ready to happen. I still do my studying and stuff, but all the jitters and stuff like that don't come until I'm backstage and it's getting ready to happen. So my mind's geared towards it all the time, but I don't let it stress me or anything. So I'm pretty carefree up until the fight.
Yeah, I feel you on the getting bored and wanting to eat. I feel you on that, man. It's just something that I think everybody understands. And you drive around a lot. So it's like you go through all these neighborhoods and I'm pretty sure there's like some decent spots to eat at around there, you know what I mean? It probably catches your eye more often than not.
Well, it helps out for me that there's actually where I work, the side of town I work at, there's not a bunch of choices. So that's good for me. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, just driving home, there's always food. There's food everywhere, man. I swear there's like 1,000,001 new food commercials once you're cutting weight. You never notice them until you got to lose weight, so here's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I know. Yeah, they always got the deal too. You know what I mean? On the commercial, they're like 3 for 1. And I'm just like, man, why are they gonna do that right now? I'm just trying to start something.
That's right.
All right. So you say you're going for the finish. How do you see this finish coming?
I don't know. It can come from anywhere. Since both me and Holland are rounded. You just don't know. It can end up anywhere. If I force it to the ground or he forces it to the ground, or it just depends on what we do and how we react to each other. So it's hard to say. Holland's a pretty unpredictable guy. And he's tricky. He does a lot of stuff that other people can't do. He gets out of situations other people can't get out of, so it's really hard to say. But yeah, it's always my intention to try to finish. I mean, I'm sure it is for him too. I'm sure he's not going out there trying to just score points, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Is it almost like you have to use his trickery against him in this fight? You know what I mean? Like you're gonna study him and then watch what he does and see the patterns. But yeah, the trickery, right? Because it's like when someone is wild, you kind of use that wildness to catch him in a position to finish the fight.
Right. Yeah. So really, I mean, it's hard to. Everybody has game plans, Everybody comes out there with a game plan and stuff like that, but you don't really know if you can implement it until you're actually there. You can't really judge somebody's speed by what you see on film, their power and all that stuff. It's something that you got to kind of fill out, and then along the way you attempt the game plan, and then every now and then you're gonna have to detour, So I don't know. I would just have to fill him out. It'd be hard to make it work against him. He's going to do things that are different than other people and stuff. He's a different kind of fighter. My job is just to just be better, man. Like I'm going to go in there and try to impose my will, and I'm going to let my style win the fight. Just as he's going to be trying to let his style win. So I think it'll be a match of styles. So I'm banking on my style being better than his.
All right. Well, August 1st, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Thank you, Trevin, so much for the time. Be safe and enjoy the fight and have fun, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it.